Look, I know I'm late. I've been working on this for a bit. I know we're at like almost 8,000 subscribers, but we're doing this anyway. Before we start off this video, some of you might not know what a paper plush is, which means you have no idea what my channel is about because I've showed these things like 100 times. This is a paper plush. I understand a lot of you are gonna say that's not a plush, and you're not wrong, but let's not throw logic into this, please. So if you're here, if you are very curious how to make this, then I hope that you actually find help here and that this actually works and all that stuff. I learned how to do this on my own, so I don't know if this is good advice that I'm going to be giving you or not, but I hope this kind of leads you into the direction to start bringing your paper plushies to life and actually start making them. So let's get right into it. Paper plush tutorial. I made a community post and a poll asking what you guys wanted for the 5,000 subscriber special, and there's a clear winner. For an example, this is Withered Freddy. This is about what we're going to be going to today. This is what it's going to look like, in case you were curious. So this is about what it's going to look like once you follow all the steps. But yeah, let's get started, and the supplies you'll need is paper, obviously, scissors. I'm going to be using tape. You are going to want markers for coloring. You can use colored pencils and stuff. I use markers, but you can use whatever. And that's all you need. And you can also grab a plushie for reference if you need it. For our first sheet of paper, all we're going to draw is 2 circles for the head. So one will be the face. You're going to draw the face on there, and the other one will be the back of the head. So basically what we're making here is we're going to make this circle, this will be the face, and then we're going to make another circle, and this will be the back. This will be the back circle. So I'll show you what that looks like. Okay, these might be a little too big, but you get the idea. You're just going to draw 2 circles. One will be the face, one will be the back of the head. So let me show you stuff about the face. First off, for the snout, we're not going to be making it 3D like this, but if you want a 3D snout like this, especially if you're doing Foxy, you can look at a tutorial. I can give you guys a tutorial if you want, but once you learn the head, you can kind of just apply the same knowledge to the head, to the snout. It's literally like making the snout and the head is almost the exact same process. But back on track here. Alright, once you have all this colored, we're just gonna cut them out. Just a note, you might need to flatten them out a little bit, so there's that. Now here's where the tricky part comes in. On Withered Freddy here, you can see this. This is how we're going to make the head. I'm going to explain this as best as I can. We're going to take a strip of paper and we're going to make it a circle to fit the circles that we cut out. And then we're going to tape this onto the head. Let me show you, or to the face and stuff. I'll show you how this works. It's really hard to explain. If you think you have enough paper left on the scraps that you have from the head, you can just use this to make that strip of paper. So let me show you what we're doing here. What you're going to want to do is you're going to want to take the color of the head and you're going to want to make, let me show you. So I still got to finish coloring this in, but you're going to want to make this a strip of the color that you're using. You're going to make a strip of paper, and you're going to take a strip of paper and you're going to take, or you're going to color it the color that you need for your head. Then you're just going to want to cut this out. Now this is the tricky part, so I'm going to record this for you guys so you can see what I'm doing. So you're going to need your tape now. And you're going to want to take your 2 pieces, well, you're going to take 1 piece of the head. This can be the face or the back of the head, your choice. But I'm going to take the face here, and I'm going to take this piece of paper. I'm going to grab a piece of tape first, and then I'm going to take this piece of paper, and I'm going to kind of fold it into a circle like this. So I'm going to take it, and then I'm going to kind of fold it into a circle like this. Once the circle is good enough for your liking and it's big enough and whatnot, then you can take the area that needs to be taped and just tape it, and there you go. That usually isn't the tricky part. The tricky part comes taping the head together, which is with the face and the back of the head. So let me explain how this works. You're going to take a piece of tape, you're going to take the circle, and then you're going to take the head, and then you're going to want to tape the circle to the back of either the back of the head or the back of the face, whichever piece you're doing. So let me explain. You're gonna take either your face piece or the back of your head, whichever piece you want, and you're gonna tape this circle piece you've made onto the back of this. Okay, so next what we're gonna do is exactly that. Now I'm gonna try and show this to you as best as I can. So what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna put this onto my circle piece. I'm actually gonna do it this way. I'm gonna put my face down to the part where it's not showing. It's white piece of paper. And we're gonna put this on here, and then I'm gonna actually, you know, I'm gonna lift this up for a second. I'm gonna put a piece of tape, half of the piece of tape, onto the circle. Just like that, onto the circle. And then I'm going to put that other end of the tape, and I'm going to tape it onto the face. Just like that. And that should actually stay. And there you go. And then you just need to do this with the rest of the sides. So I'll actually keep this on camera for you guys. I'll grab another piece of tape. I'll put half of it on here. And then I'm going to tape the other half onto, here we go, onto the face. There we go. I know that might have been a little confusing, so if you need anything, any questions, just let me know in the comment section and I can help anyone who needs it. Then all you need to do is take your other piece of your head, whether this is your face or the back of the head like I did, and you're just going to tape it on the same way. A little tip before you completely tape on your head, you can put in any stuffing you'd like to put in there. I usually put pieces of scrap in there, but tissues, stuffing, even anything that you want to stuff your plush with, you want to put inside this circle before you tape this completely shut. So do that if you need to. If done correctly, you should fully have the head done, and it should look something like this. Before we continue on with the body, I want to first get the accessories and the ears on to our head. For the ears, it's just going to depend on your character. If you have Chica, you can just draw the feathers and tape them on there. If you have the bear ears, which I'm going to be doing, then you'll just tape the bear ears on. If you have bunny ears, draw the bunny ears. If you have the fox ears, like Withered Foxy over here, then you'll just draw those and tape those on. It's not, like, this step is kind of a thing that'll differ depending on who you do. So yeah, if you have ears on your character, then you're just going to draw their ears and you're going to tape it on there. So let me show you how it would work for Freddy here. So like I said, you're just going to draw your ears and then you're going to cut them out. For your ears, since we're making them 2D, you're also going to want to color the back of them. After that, we're just simply going to tape them on. And that's about it for that. Make sure you leave room for any accessories if you have them. Like, for example, Toy Freddy here has a top hat, so I'm going to leave room for the top hat when taping my ears on. Or you don't even have to tape the ears on. You can wait until we do the top hat and then tape the ears on if you want to. So you can make a 2D hat if you want to, but if you want to make a 3D hat, like Withered Freddy here, or like the Crazy Studios top hat, I will show you how to do this in this video, because this is a little bit more complicated, and there's no real good way of knowing in this tutorial from a different thing that we do. So I'm going to teach you how to make the top hat. We're going to start with a circle, and this circle is going to be the bottom of the hat. Like on here, this is going to be the bottom or the rim of the hat. And so you're going to want to make sure that this is correctly sized. So you can just kind of compare, like looking at your head and stuff, whatever you need to do to make this work. Then we're going to cut them out. Now for the actual top hat here, this thing right here, the cylinder right here, we're actually going to use a similar technique to what we did for the head right here, where we did a strip of paper. We're actually going to do another piece of paper. We're going to do a strip of paper, just like how we did with the head. I'll show you what I mean. Okay, I forgot to record the thing when it was on paper, but basically you're just going to make a small strip of paper. Don't make it too big. Like, don't make it as big as we had to make for the head. So we're going to grab a piece of tape here, and we're going to just roll this piece up until it's as big as we want it. We're just going to, like watch what I do here. We're just going to roll this until we have it the size we want, and then we'll tape it. So make sure you're looking at your the bottom of the top hat here, so you can kind of compare the size here and make it how you want. But once you have the size that you want, you can just tape the edge that's sticking out, or the edge that, you know, whatever you want to call it, just tape it together, and then you can move on. Then after that, you just need to tape this part of the hat and this part of the hat together. So you're just going to want to tape the bottom part of the hat to this part of the hat, and we're just going to tape those together. Sorry, I keep forgetting to record, but you're gonna color a smaller circle, and you're gonna cut that out, and that is gonna go on this part of the hat, which will cover this part of the hat up, and you will be done with the top hat, unless you have a ribbon. If your top hat doesn't have a ribbon, then you are done with the top hat. But if yours does have a ribbon, like Crazy Studios top hat here, where you can see that there is a ribbon, I will show you how to make it. So I made the top hat a little small for this, for Toy Freddy here. So I'm gonna real quickly redo this and make it a little bit bigger. But yeah, so let me do that real quick. Next, for your ribbon, you're just gonna need to cut out another strip of paper. Then take your top hat, and you're gonna want to wrap the ribbon around it. And then you're gonna go to about here. Now, when you're to the end point, you can either like hold it like this and then cut off the remaining, or you can do what I usually do, and I just kind of hide the extra paper behind the other overlap, and I just put that there, and then I tape this together. Also, make sure that the ribbon is still taped to your top hat in some like way, because if it's not, that's not going to work out well in the end. Actually, taping this onto the head is pretty difficult, which is why I'm going to show you how this works here. How you put it or where you put it on the head isn't exactly what I'm talking about here. That is up to you. What I'm talking about here is just getting onto the head. So I usually put a piece of tape. You can't really see it because it's clear tape, but it's there. Piece of tape onto the back of the top hat, and then put that onto the back of the head like that. And then I fold this up. Well, I don't really fold it. I put the top hat down onto the head, and then I put a piece of tape where the bottom of the top hat and the head, or your face, meet. Where the face meets. And that's about it. You might have to, like, I got it a little uneven, but you'll just have to keep experimenting with it, and you'll get better over time. And then remember, if you haven't already, to tape your ears onto your head. And with all that, your head is done. This is the more long part of the video, because the head just takes a bit, especially with all the stuff that you have to put onto the head. But the head is actually the longest part. The torso is a similar process to the head, but it's a little bit more simplified. And then you really just have the limbs, which aren't too hard, and you'll see why in a second. So, yeah, hardest part of the tutorial is complete. Congratulations. Now, for the torso, you're going to probably need a new piece of paper. Now, for the body, there's a general, like, shape that you'll have to give it, and depending on your character, this might be different, but the general shape that I give my paper plushies for the torso is this shape right here. It's pretty much how it is it's a curve, and then a straight line at the bottom. Curve, straight line at the bottom. With this body type right here, basically what it is it ensures that you will have your paper plush to stand. It doesn't work all the time. A good example of it not working is Withered Foxy. But Withered Foxy here cannot stand. It doesn't work all the time, but it actually works a lot better, and it's gotten me more success than fails. So, it's just this body type is just a way to ensure that your plush can stand. So, you can use this body type if you want yours to stand. Just use this. This makes it all the more easier to do. Now for the torso, you're going to be doing the same steps that you did when you started making the head. You're going to make the two torso parts. You're going to draw the front of the torso, like on Withered Foxy here, the front of the torso, and the back of the torso. You're going to also draw the back of the torso. Also, when working on your torso here, make sure you don't add anything like a bow tie. Well, actually, you can add the buttons, but if you have a bow tie, we're going to make the bow tie separate to make it look a bit cooler. Like on Withered Freddy here, the bow tie is a bit separate, so it just looks a bit better. So, if you have a bow tie, don't draw it yet. If you already did, though, that's fine. It doesn't really matter. It's just a design choice. Alright, and then we're going to cut this out. You're going to make another piece of paper. It's going to be another strip of paper that you will color and cut out. Alright, once this is cut out, we're going to do the same steps as with the head. Most of the stuff stays the same at first. You're going to put this on the ground. You're going to, and then you're just going to tape this along like how we normally do. But just make sure that you tape the piece of paper strip, and tape this onto the body, but not the whole thing. You're only going to want to tape it around the curve. Right at the bottom here, where we kept the straight line, do not tape this over that. You're going to want to keep that open for a different strip of paper. So I'm going to show you what this kind of looks like with the body piece here. You're going to take the piece of paper here, and you're going to, here, let me move this back real quick. Then you're going to put half of the tape right here on the back of the piece of strip, which the back is just the part that's not colored. And then you're going to put that and the other half onto the back of the piece of the body. And make sure that you have none of the piece of paper strip at the bottom line here. You don't want it going across here. And you're just going to keep taping across until it makes it over there. So since the body's a little bit weird in how it works, basically you're going to put the half of the tape on here like normal. You're just going to keep going across until it's actually like fully across, until you get to the bottom of the body with the straight line. Now your body piece should look something like this if you did it correctly. We're not going to tape the back. Actually, we will tape the back now, but just making sure that this is kind of what it looks like if you taped this part correctly, and the next part where you tape the other piece of your body onto it isn't actually that difficult. Just make sure that the straight line is actually still, we're not going to have a strip of paper down here yet. You're just going to tape your other body piece onto this, like this, okay? Just do that. Something I forgot to mention is actually make sure you tape like the very edges of the body piece here. Make sure you tape the very edge here so that it doesn't stick out, and we can, yeah. So there's that. Okay, so once you have it done, it should look something like this. If it looks like this, you are actually doing perfect. Let's move on to what we're going to do for the bottom of this here. So this is actually where you're going to add that stuffing. If you're going to stuff it, you're going to add the stuffing and whatever you're going to use. If you're going to use stuffing, if you're going to use paper, whatever you're going to use to stuff it, this is the time to stuff the body. For the bottom of the torso here, what we're going to do for the bottom part here is we're going to make another strip of paper specifically for this part of the torso. Make the strip and then cut it out. Sorry guys, I forgot to record footage for it, but basically you're just going to tape this strip onto the body the same way you did with all the other strip of paper. And that is the body base completed. So there is that. Before we move on though, the bow tie. If you drew on the bow tie, that is completely fine, but if you didn't and you waited for me to talk about this bow tie right here, we're just going to draw a bow tie and then we're going to tape it onto the body. So like I said, I just drew the bow tie and I cut it out and I taped it onto the body. That's all you need to do for the bow tie if you wanted to do it like this. I just think it looks a little bit better, but it's up to you if you want to just keep drawing on it from now on or drawing it on, or if you want to cut it out and tape it on. We are almost done, everyone. We actually have the easiest part of the tutorial up here, which is the limbs. The limbs on the plushies. These are the type we're going to be making, and they are super easy once you figure them out. It is awesome. Like, it's hard to get at first, but it is awesome and easy once you start to understand them. Here's a look at Withered Freddy. These ones are a little bit small. Withered Foxy's a better example, actually, of what these are gonna actually look like. So yeah, let's get started. For this, I'm gonna take a completely new piece of paper, and on the two longest sides of the piece of paper, I'm going to I'm going to color another strip of paper on both of the long sides. Like, let me show you what I mean. All right, so just like this, one of these strips are going to be the arms, one of these strips are going to be the legs. So if you have different color arms and legs, you're actually going to want to make the different colored strips for that. So like, for example, here on Withered Foxy, I had to do like, this top one would be a red strip, and then the bottom one would be a brown strip to represent his the pants that he's wearing. So that is something you're going to want to pay attention to when you're making the two strips of paper for the limbs. And now we just need to cut the limbs out. After you cut the two strips, you're actually going to want to cut each of these two strips in half. Alright, once you have these pieces of strips in half, you should have 4. Each of these are going to be a limb. So let me show you how the limbs are going to work. Basically, we're going to roll each of these up like this. You're going to roll each of them up just like this. You're going to take the end, you're going to take the other end, and you're going to connect them. And then you're going to make them whatever size you want by just continuously doing, like, messing around with it. You'll figure it out, I promise. And then just taping just taping it together so it'll stay in place. And that is one limb, and now you just do that with the other 3. Now you should have 4 of these little things, and these cylinders and whatnot, and these are going to be the limbs. And if you want these to be bigger, then you just need to make these strips thicker is all. That's all you need to do to make the limbs bigger. Now it is time to make the last part of these legs before we start taping them on. We need to make the actual feet color. So this is like, see how we have the limb here? Like on Freddy here, we have the limb, and then we also have this part right here, which I like to call the foot. So moving all this aside, we are going to draw those feet and hands. So make sure that you draw each of them out for every limb, and they should fit. If you need to redo some, that's okay. And then we're just gonna cut these out. Okay, so for each individual limb, we're actually gonna have one of these circles become the hands or the feet. You're just gonna wanna tape it on. It's a little complicated, so let me show you how to do that. So the best way I like to do this is I like to take a decently long piece of tape. It's not like a long piece of tape, but if it's long enough to go over the hand or the foot, then you'll be good. You'll be good. You'll be good. And then you want to just kind of, then you just need to put the 2 pieces of tape that are sticking out over the limb, and then you should just kind of morph into it. And then there you go. Now if it's a little small like this and you don't feel like making another hand or foot, then you can just kind of grab another piece of tape and then tape these 2 together, and it should just kind of shape into the thing you need. Now this part's a little bit more tricky, but you should be able to get it if you've been able to get everything out so far. Taping on the limbs to the body. Here's what we're going to do. For the arms, it's very simple. You're just going to tape the arms where you want to by putting a piece of tape onto the limb, and then to make sure it's half of it's taped onto the limb, the other half is taped onto the body, just like that. And it should stay on there, but it's gonna, if you tip it over, yeah, it's gonna kind of go like that. And we don't want that, so you just need to tape the bottom of the arm to the body. Now, for the legs, they're a little bit more complicated. For the legs, you're going to want to try and put them like as best as you can and try and optimize it so that it'll actually stand. So, for example, make sure that these legs don't cover up the buttons so that you can see the buttons like this. This would work pretty good, actually, and this would work really well. So, how you tape the legs on, once you figure that out, isn't much different from the arms. In fact, it's the exact same thing. You put half of a piece of the piece of tape onto the limb, the other half onto the body, and then the opposite side of that limb that doesn't have a piece of tape, you put there. And that is your first limb, and then you do the exact same thing for the second limb. And there's the body. This is our body. Now, taping the body to the head. So, to tape the body to the head, all you need to do is you connect the two like so. I can actually stand the body up so I can kind of show you this better. And then you just grab your piece of tape and you connect the two with the piece of tape. And then, okay, and then we do the same thing for the back. Tape the head on to the back. Like, if you tape the back of the head to the back of the body, after connecting the head to the body, you are done. Look at this. So yeah, here is Toy Freddy. I finished him. He looks really good, just like all my other customs. And I hope this tutorial helped. And if you're wondering if he can stand or not, he can stand, which is an accomplishment I love when I get to make this stuff stand. Whenever paper plushies stand, it feels like an accomplishment. But yeah, so I hope this tutorial helped. I know it was really hard to explain all this stuff, so if this made no sense to you at all, I understand. But I hope this tutorial did help, considering how long this video is going to be. And thank you guys for 5,000 subscribers. I knew this video was going to be difficult, but, you know, it was 5,000 subscribers is a lot, and I wanted to return the favor. But anyway, yeah, I hope this helped, and if you do make one yourself and you have a YouTube channel, if you could put @CrazyStudios751 in the title, that lets me actually see the video and I can check it out, and it'd be really cool. I'd love to see your guys' creations. Or you could just comment it in this video that you said that you did one and I can check it out. But I hope this helped. And thanks for 5,000. Yeah, new video this weekend, hopefully. I will see you guys later in the time of posting this video. Goodbye.